like 10-15 minutes, if that. I'm going to just set up the camera and make some adjustments. So let's see how this goes. Hey Shogi, can you hear me okay? Hey Ron. Hey Izzo. I'm messing with the camera here. I'm going to set up the live feed, the information from Spaceflight Now, so we can get some commentary.
Launch director, and if we do, we'll be ready to pick up the pole at that time, unless there's something else that you're aware of.
No, sir. Let's verify all our work is complete, and I would like one last check of our constraints list.
Okay, right now there's a hold.
All right, let's see. OTC, are you still waiting for com config, or are you?
That is affirmed, sir.
Okay, is that the only open item?
Yeah, OTC, this is CVSC. That 400 step 290 is complete. Copy.
Okay, so OTC, you're complete with all of your work?
That's affirmed.
I copy that. STC?
STC is complete.
Can you guys get the commentary?
TTC is
Can you
complete.
hear it in the background?
Okay, excellent. All right, and LPE, just want to verify we have no open constraints at this time.
No open constraints. We have a clear board, sir.
Okay, tracking the same here.
Hey Dan, welcome in.
And launch director, with that, we are clear and ready to pick up the launch readiness pole with your go.
All right, sir. I am go for the pole.
All right. And for all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the Artemis 2 launch readiness check. Verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC.
GC is go.
STC.
STC is go.
GTC.
C's go.
MCO.
TO's go.
Safety console.
Safety console is go.
LPE.
LP is go.
RTD.
RTD's go.
Houston flight.
Houston flight is go.
It's kind of windy out, so sorry for the subtle
Rock is go.
shaking.
And CDR.
Crew is go.
Copy that. Thank you, Reed. And launch director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, NTD, I copy all. At this time, I'll perform my poll. Attention on the net. This is the launch director performing the final poll for launch. Verify no constraints and go for launch.
Awesome.
EGS, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
The Artemis CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range weather.
Launch weather is go.
Thank you, LWO. And Artemis MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. And Integrity Launch Director.
Good Air Voice Charlie, PLT.
It's Cody where you are, Dan?
We are going for our families.
MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
And Izzo said hi, Linda.
This is Jeremy.
She's
We are
waving.
going for all humanity. Hi, Charlie. Your Artemis 2 crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis 2. Let's go.
Izzo said hi, Linda. Jeremy, she's waving.
and NTD Launch Director.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Copy that. I'll put it in work. CDR NTD.
Go.
Be advised, first and initiate short purge for your EPROC 10.1.1, steps 8 and 9.
10.1.1, 8, 9, going to work.
Copy. CBSE NTD. Start and verify recordings of our Orion cameras. Copy. Thank you. RSR NTD.
RSR.
All right, perform the booster ignition SNA arm rotation. Enable at this time, please.
RSR in work. Booster ignition SNA arm rotation enable complete.
Copy that. Thank you.
Integrity crew, close and lock visors.
Not gonna lie, all, I am really excited about this launch. This is really awesome that NASA's doing this mission again like this.
And as we've been hearing, the NASA test director poll complete, the launch director poll complete as well. Good words from the crew. Teams have been given the blessing to proceed with the count. We are awaiting terminal count to pick up once the new T0 has been set.
Let's see what it says. Hopefully it hits within the right window. Back a
Again,
little bit
the
more.
terminal count
And
has
ECL will
not
wait for
picked
your
up just
verification.
yet. We're watching for movement of the clock.
And for all personnel, once we get that short purge verification, we'll verify that we are clear to go, and then we'll proceed with the terminal count.
As you can start a little bit more left to do before terminal count can proceed, but we are getting very close, everyone, to the liftoff of Artemis 2 as planned. For those who may just be joining us, if you haven't been following along with these final big
As you can
updates,
see, it's
GL
a
time estimate.
really pretty day out here. It was overcast before.
teams had a little bit of extra work they needed to get through, and so the terminal count has not picked up. So just setting the scene for everybody, there will not be a liftoff in 1 minute. We are awaiting the updated T0 time for the liftoff of the Space Launch System rocket. When that time is given, when we get right down to the end of the count, you'll see the 4 RS-25 engines ignite about 6.36 seconds before the 2 solid rocket boosters come to life, and then we'll see Artemis 2 take off. All continues to go well with these final 10 minutes once the terminal count picks up. Got a lot of folks out here eagerly awaiting the flight of Artemis 2, the first crewed mission of the Orion spacecraft.
NTD CCL 212, short purge initiations verified.
All right, copy that, and we're verifying our constraints. All right, and we're clear from cutouts. And with that, we're going to resume the clock momentarily.
Okay, clock's going back
And
up.
GLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
GLS copies. 3, 2, 1, mark. GLS mainline has been initiated.
9
Minus
minutes.
10 minutes and counting.
Well, 10 minutes technically.
And we are now looking at 6:35 p.m. Eastern, 22:35 for the new T0 liftoff time for the Artemis 2 mission. Terminal clock underway.
You're welcome,
You'll hear a
Izzo.
lot of call-outs on the process through the count. One of the next big milestones is coming up in about 1.5 minutes time. We'll see the retraction of the crew access arm. It will swing away from the Orion spacecraft and be stowed alongside the mobile launcher. That'll be followed by the ground launch sequencer giving the go for core stage pressurization at T-minus 6 minutes. At the same time, the Orion Ascent pyros will be armed and the Orion spacecraft will transition to internal power. Seconds later, the core stage liquid hydrogen tank will terminate its replenish cycle.
Flight and rock. Our new T0 is 223512.
Houston flight copies. 223512.
Affirm.
So it's about 8 minutes.
And just a note out there to all the launch photographers, the T0 specifically is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. 22:35 and 12 seconds UTC for those around the world. About 30 seconds remaining to the planned swing away from the crew access arm away from the Orion spacecraft. The launch board system, which is the structure atop the Orion spacecraft, you can see that there with the American flag just above that red umbilical. That ability to use that emergency way of getting away from the rocket, if necessary, will become active for the crew beginning at T-minus 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Once the LAS is active, the NASA test director will let Commander Reed Wiseman know that that is a viable option.
GLS is go for crew access arm retract.
Retract go given, arm is now swinging away. We're now less than 8 minutes away to the planned liftoff of the Space Launch System rocket on its first crewed flight. You can see this view from inside the White Room as the arm retracts away from the crew. And the spacecraft's named Integrity. About 7.5 minutes remaining before the planned liftoff. Again, in about a little less than a minute and a half from now, the tank pressurization on the core stage will begin.
And we got very, very loud neighbors. And everything echoes here.
Just under 7 minutes and counting now. Less than 1 minute to core tank pressurization, and the launch ascent pyros will be armed, and the Orion spacecraft transitions to internal power.
Thanks everybody for coming in and watching this with me.
After the 6 minute mark in flight, some of the next major milestones beyond the launch board system being activated at T-minus 5 minutes and 20 seconds. The go for the flight termination system arming will happen at T-minus 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
So we got about 6 minutes at
Core stage auxiliary power unit.
GLS is go for core stage tank pressurization.
The replenish valve is now closed for the core stage liquid hydrogen tank. Under 5 minutes now, or under 6 minutes. Launch board system capability will be active for the crew in about 10 seconds.
GLS verifies last capability available.
And CDR, do you copy?
CDR copies, last available.
That escape capability now available to the crew if necessary. Confirmed by Commander Reed Wiseman as we are now 5 minutes and
GLS
counting.
is go for FTS arm.
Yeah, a lot of birds and and people, and it's going to be interesting. If you,
GLS
I
is
wish
go
I had
for
a way
LH2
to.
high flow bleed check.
Nope, that's because you went and chatted in Bob's Mods. I saw that, Yogi. Hey Barry, what's going on, Bob? Glad you made it, Bob. Are you still in the car, Bob?
Four minutes and counting.
GLS go for core stage APU start.
This is the auxiliary power unit on the core stage.
Almost at the 3-minute mark.
Just about 3.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Now the interim cryogenic propulsion
I'm
stage
taking
locks.
into consideration the delay that YouTube puts into it.
Coming up to the final
Hi, MJ. Welcome in.
3 minutes of the count. When we hit about 2 minutes and 2 seconds, the interim cryogenic propulsion stage will switch to its internal battery power. That'll be followed seconds later by
GLS go for purge sequence 4.
the core stage switching to internal power as well. First, the solids at 2 minutes, the core stage at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds, switching to internal power. We're less than 3 minutes to the planned liftoff of Artemis 2. Continuing on with the terminal count to a liftoff scheduled for 6:35 and 12 seconds Eastern Time. Should see a gimbal there of those engines. You see that in motion. Good testing of those RS-25 engines, now approaching the final 2 minutes in flight. As a reminder, those RS-25s will ignite as planned at T-minus 6 seconds.
Go for upper stage to internal power.
6.36 seconds before liftoff is when those engines will come alive. We're less than 2 minutes.
This is going to be awesome. It says 1:30.
In this
so
final
about
minute and a half, the core
15.
stage will switch to internal power as well. The upper stage will end.
GLS go for core stage to internal power.
Good call out there. Should hear a call for the upper stage entering terminal countdown mode. Coming up on the final minute of the count. One minute and counting. Cheers across the press line here at the Kennedy Space Center.
Seconds.
GLS go for ALS.
30 seconds and counting.
25.
The hydrogen burn-off igniters will kick on at T-minus 12 seconds.
15.
Hydrogen burner ignition.
10.
GLS go for core stage.
8, 7, 6 should have RS-25 start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and
Go,
liftoff.
baby, go.
Liftoff of the Artemis 2 mission, the first crewed flight of the Orion spacecraft, the first humans to plan a trip beyond low Earth orbit, has taken off from Florida.
Where is she?
Now about 1 minute in flight, the SLS rocket traveling faster than the speed of sound. Engine's about to throttle back as it approaches max Q, the point of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle.
Here comes the rumble, people.
Confirmation past max Q, the RS-25's throttling back up to 109% thrust capacity. Now about a little more than a minute and a half into flight. Coming up next will be the separation of the two 5-segment solid rocket boosters a little more than 2 minutes into the mission. That roll maneuver we saw earlier, intentional to put the crew in the right orientation as the rocket continues to climb uphill.
My whole house is rumbling. This is
And a
amazing.
good separation of those solids. Five solid rocket boosters chock full of shuttle heritage, having carried this crew on the first part of their journey.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
75% of the initial thrust was those
Integrity,
engines.
SM priming complete.
Now approaching T+3 minutes into the flight. Coming up next,
And she's out of
the
view.
launch abort system. At that point in the mission, it will no longer be needed. Now more than 3 minutes into this flight of the Artemis 2 crew on board their Space Launch System rocket.
Well,
There go the covers for the
got some YouTube.
launch abort system. Now it has been jettisoned.
Well, I'm gonna go geek out now and see what they have on.
Orion
the,
Integrity now no longer having the launch abort system.
Integrity, good. Last jettison, great view.
So it's 3.5 minutes up in
Copy,
space
jettison.
now, up there.
Team Eco
So,
8702.
Let's wish them Godspeed to get around that
And with
moon,
that protection
circle the
covering
Earth,
now
and
gone,
go do it.
And Houston has you loud and clear on Tidris at the Carmen line.
the windows are open as you just heard.
Outstanding, Stan. We have you soon.
Reaching the Kármán line, entering space. First space flight for Jeremy Hansen, the second for Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Cook. Now a little more than 4 minutes into flight. The next big milestone is coming up in about 4 minutes' time. We're watching for the core stage main engine cutoff. This will be MECO, where the 4 RS-25 engines will power down. That'll be followed a little more than 10 seconds later by the separation of the core stage and the ICPS, the rocket's upper stage, which will be powered by an RL-10 engine from L3 Harris. Continue to get great tracking views this April 1st, the flight of Artemis 2. Well,
Integrity, GPS processing.
Okay, all. I want to thank you for coming in, and I'm going to go switch over to watching the rest of this on the computer since it's out of eye shot. And thank you all for being with me for this historic occasion. It was awesome.
good words
Have
by
a
the
good one.
commander heading towards that beautiful moonrise. Their zero-G indicator happens to be named Rise as well, created by a